If you want to stay up to date with all current hip hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to become part of this community. Ever since we got those Drake posts like a couple of days ago, there's been a lot of rumors going around about the release of CLB, but also about the release of a possible What a Time to Be Alive 2 collaboration with Future. I'm talking about those pictures that Drake posted to Instagram with him and Future in the studio, and that of course sparked rumors about a possible release of a What a Time to Be Alive 2 record. Now, What a Time to Be Alive was that Future and Drake collaboration tape back in 2015 that, came really at the peak of both of their careers. Of course, Drake went on to become even more successful after that, but that was really when his wave was, crazy. Even like 2015, 2016. And I mean, in 2015, he dropped, if you're reading this is too late, one of his best projects. And he was really catching that wave of that was his year. In 2016 as well, with the whole, Meek Mill beef. And that summer was crazy. But anyway, so that was something that fans have, of course, been waiting for a long time now. I mean, that tape dropped 6 years ago. And to a lot of people, that seems not like a Drake discography project because it was, made in collaboration with Future. It featured a lot of those Atlanta trap sounds that maybe people didn't expect Drake to go on, especially something like Jumpman, probably the biggest hit from that project, which was very repetitive, very kind of reminiscent of that sound of that time, and people were used to that from Future, but to see Drake drop into that, I think was pretty cool, but also surprising. And that was kind of the start of Drake just trying to ride everyone's wave and adapt to different styles and make it his own, which we've seen him continue to do for a long time after that. But anyway, this new post then sparked a lot of rumors about a possible release of that second, succession to that first project. The first project was received pretty well generally. I actually like this thing quite a lot. I listened to it a lot and thoroughly a couple of years ago when that was really what I was into. There's some, of course, the big ones Jumpman I mentioned, or Digital Dash, but also the Deep Cuts, Plastic Bag, Scholarships, and all that. Those are great songs, and if you're a Drake fan, then you should definitely go check those out if you haven't yet, because that's definitely some of those hidden gems that you find on there. And what made those tracks so incredible was the production from Metro Boomin, who executive produced that whole thing. This was right around the time when Metro did a lot of collaborations, in the Atlanta area, and really started coming up in the city, although he has been for years before that, but that was when he was really blowing up with a lot of production, a lot of big tracks. And his production really made What a Time to Be Alive so legendary, and so it's a perfect time stamp in around that era that it was released. And part of it is, of course, due to the production from Metro. And what sparked even more rumors about a possible successor to this project dropping is that the second picture that Drake posted on Instagram was him and Future in the studio, and then also Metro next to them. And I talked about this in that other video I made about Drake yesterday, where I said, even if you just saw Drake and Future in there, you would think oh, is What a Time to Be Alive 2 happening? But if he intentionally adds Metro to this thing, then for sure this is a sign that something is coming. I don't want to get my hopes up too high immediately, because it could just be a single track that the three of them are working on, but I don't think that Drake would share that if, he knows that fans are craving for a part 2 of that record. So I think this is a pretty clear sign that we're getting What a Time to Be Alive 2. And if we do, then that will be amazing. Now, I already said that, he's teasing CLB. The CLB rollout has kind of begun with that last post that he made on Instagram with the loading and all that. And I think, with the start of the CLB rollout, I mentioned that Drake could be starting an a release schedule of 2021. We've seen him drop 2 projects in 2015, if you're reading this, and What a Time to Be Alive. So maybe it's going to be the same this year. He's dropping a solo project, CLB, Certified Lover Boy, and then also that collaboration tape with Future. A lot of you guys already said he's dropping What a Time to Be Alive 2 before CLB or whatever. I don't think so. I think CLB will drop before What a Time to Be Alive 2. I think CLB will drop around, July, August, probably the end of summer, and then sometime around in the fall, probably we'll get What a Time to Be Alive 2. thinking about this project, I of course have some expectations in my head, and I don't want to hang on to them too much, because I know that having expectations for an album and having that rigid in your head can really destroy your own perception of the final product, because it might be totally different from what you imagined it to be, or the artist could have taken a different approach to it. But of course, when you listen to the first one, you get that, that sound, like those kind of cloudy, eerie Drake instrumentals that 40 is famous for making, with that metro booming trap touch with those drums on there and those 808s on it. I think that was really something that worked together really well, and it created a very timeless, just iconic atmosphere throughout the whole project. It seemed luxurious, it seemed grand, and I hope that this new successor to the first one can expand on that sound further. Drake is someone who I really appreciate for that sound. I mean, all throughout his career, that is the sound that I like the most from him. On So Far Gone, the Calm is my favorite track, which has kind of those looming synths in the background. For example, on If You're Reading This, Star 67 is probably my favorite track, especially that second beat switch. Again, with those synths in the background, just creating that eerie, just timeless, luxurious vibe. And on, for example, What a Time to Be Alive, Plastic Bag is my favorite track. So I think all of that, is part of the same reason that I hope this new project will again expand on that. I'm not expecting them to really reinvent themselves. Of course, Drake has gone through a lot of different phases in his artistic evolution in the meantime. We've seen him just hop on trends and try new flows and new cadences and all that, while on What a Time to Be Alive, that was 2015, he was still sticking to those Drake flows and melodies and all that. So I think that he'll kind of adjust it to a newer generation of listeners. But I think this will be okay. I think if we do get this, I don't want to say for sure 100% we're gonna get What a Time to Be Alive 2 now. But if we ever get it this year, which I highly think so, then I hope that that's really what they can do with that album. So I'm very excited for this. I mean, yo guys, think about it. We're talking about Drake possibly dropping 2 new albums this year, and just a couple of weeks ago we were not even sure if CLB is still ever going to happen. So I think we can only take some positive aspects from this, and I'm looking forward to 2021 so much. We already got J. Cole, we got the Migos, we got Polo so far, and I think Drake, Kenny, and all those are still coming up. So yeah, that's gonna be a great year. I can feel it. Now that's what I think about this. Now I want to know what you think about this. Do you still think we're getting What a Time to Be Alive? Or not still, but do you think we're getting it? If so, when do you think it'll drop? Do you think this picture that Drake posted is an indicator that we're getting this collaboration album, or the part 2 to it? Or do you think this is just a single that they're working on in the studio? That's what I want to know from you. Let me know in the comments down below. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media and blog down in the description. It really helps me out. Until the next one, y'all have an incredible day, and y'all take care.